Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, today we're going to be doing a 12 marker for A level economics paper 3. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, first of all, we're gonna look at the question. So, the question is with reference to extract C. So, we can tell that the application for this question is going to be from extract C only. Discuss the likely effects of increasing integration within the food delivery market. So, again, before we even start the question, what we must have drilled in our heads is essentially how is this question formulated? So, we know that there is 8 KAA and there is 4 evaluation marks. Now, the way I would suggest you structure this question again based on the question is likely effects. So from what we can understand, effects means they want at least 2 effects. Yeah, not just one but 2, because it says likely effects. Okay, now what I would suggest you doing is again visualizing how you're supposed to be marked. So I would have essentially is this: knowledge, analysis, application, and analysis. So that would be paragraph 1. And then evaluation, I would have my points and then my evidence. So that would be 2 marks. And then for paragraph 2, again, knowledge, analysis, application, and then analysis. And then for evaluation, I would have my point and then my evidence. So that's how I would plan to conduct a 12 marker. So that's for paragraph 1 and then paragraph 2. So the evaluation of paragraph 1 and then evaluation of paragraph 2. So I want you to imagine this structure in your head whenever you approach a 12 marker in economics in general. Well, in certain cases, however, it may be a matter where you may treat it as a half of a 25 marker. So where you do a really big paragraph for your KAA. So essentially what you would end up doing is having 2 knowledge, 2 analysis, 2 application, and then again just maybe extra analysis in here maybe, or extra knowledge point here. So again 3, 5, and then 8. So a combination of +1 in either the knowledge or analysis and application. So again, I would just treat it as, in most cases, as 2 knowledge marks. So one from the diagram, one from the definition, and then maybe one from listing the effect or a cause. And then analysis is maybe if I draw the graph, explaining the graph. So I would probably receive, for example, in this case, let's say profits increase from AR1 to AR2, then you would probably get an analysis mark for that. And from saying another example is demand shifted from D1 to D2, that's an analysis mark again there. And then application marks, it would be definitely from the extracts. So that's just generally the way I would approach depending on the phrasing of the question. So again, in this question is asking for multiple effects. Should it be one effect, you would want to treat it as half of a 25 marker. So without further ado, let's quickly get this question cracking. So, first of all, we need to read the question again. So, the likely effects of increasing integration within the food delivery market. So, one thing I would definitely suggest you doing is, again, thinking in a logical manner of, you know, what is integration. So, we could perhaps interpret it as a vertical or horizontal integration, i.e., the joining of firms. So essentially, what is integration, i.e., the joining of firms? So, so what are the effects of firms joining up together? Well, first of all, we can say for the knowledge mark is essentially, so let's think of it within the real world in the food delivery market. Now, let's just say Uber and Deliveroo, for example, they join up together. What does this mean in a practical sense? So, first of all, I would probably say my point would be it removes competition, because if initially Uber Eats and Deliveroo are competing against each other, if they become one firm, for example, Deliver Eats, yeah, for example, if you merge the name together, that's the new company, it would essentially remove the competition between them. So I would say the first point, I would say one likely effect of increasing integration within the food delivery market is that it removes competition. That's the knowledge. And then what I would say, for example, you could explain it why this removes competition. So you're right. This is because, so then you would explain why this removes competition. This is because you end up eliminating threats from your rivals and competitors, and therefore this means that you're able to profit maximize as you take the customers of Deliveroo, for example. And as a result, you don't need to compete with other food delivery companies. For example, again, it's hypothetical. Now, because it says extract C, what I would definitely recommend, if let's say, for example, this question, the way we answered it right now, we just called it off on the top of our heads. So if we can't remember anything in the exam, what I would suggest you doing is indeed actually read the extract, because most of the time the effects are usually within the extract. So we're going to go to extract C and find out what there actually is. So extract C, there we go. So CMA, just the market leader agreed to merge with the successful. Okay, then boom. So we already have. So again, we can just quickly skim read, just get an idea of what the effects could potentially be. So again, I'm just quickly skimming through what I can possibly see. And I would definitely say, yes, one effect you could say, you could obviously infer it. So, aggressive pricing strategy, you could say that actually it it basically causes prices higher for customers, or even prices lower for customers. Therefore, again, let's say undercutting delivery fees. So that would be actually good for customers. So you could say, one effect of integration is that it increases consumer surplus. So that would be your knowledge. And you would explain this is because, as for example, in here, what did they say? Just Eat merges with Uber Eats, or you could say as Just Eat competes with Uber Eats, actually is better. I would suggest you writing, of course, being specific in again contextualize and being specific what firm is doing what, so the examiner understands what you're saying. So I would say in this case, Just Eat would offer better prices to customers, and as a result, this means that undercutting delivery fees below the average cost for other firms in the market, it will allow consumers to pay less, therefore increasing consumer surplus. And you could also argue that actually this leads to an increase in demand, which therefore may actually lead to higher revenue for firms. Again, you can obviously link the economic theories, but again, we don't want to write too much. So in this case, as we were writing, we could say, getting back to the question why it removes competition, we again say the firms merging removes competition. This is because they will be working together to maximize profits and minimize advertising costs. And then application, for example, again, we saw in the extra, I think Just Eats merged with a German delivery company. Again, you could say that. So that, again, that's just paragraph one, and then obviously when you write the application, you will have quotation marks within it. So I'm just giving you a brief example of course we're gonna write it down as well. So we're gonna write it down now since you can have a clear understanding of what I'm trying to say. So now I'd say now is a pretty good time to write everything down as we were discussing. So what we would say one likely effect of increasing integration is that it removes competition between delivery food companies such as Uber Eats and Just Eat, for example. Again, when you write your exam question, you want it to be as contextual as possible, making it sound like it's real life. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. That's how you're gonna pick up your application marks. Okay, so one likely effect of increasing integration is that it removes competition between delivery food companies such as Uber Eats and Just Eat. For example, in extract C says now the way we're gonna gain one of the application marks, as we mentioned before, is just quoting something. So as you can see here, Just Eat merged with successful Dutch firm Takeaway.com. For example, what does it say? So in 2020, we could say in 2020, for example, in 2020, comma, Just Eat, a market leader merged with delivery.com, basically a German company, as they said. Takeaway.com. So we could write with takeaway. Quickly cancel this and write takeaway.com with takeaway.com. And then we just explain what this means. Okay, so we can write as a result, this meant that Just Eat and the rival firm takeaway.com were no longer in competition after the integration in 2020. Again, you want to contextualize it as much as possible. I can't emphasize this enough. You need to make sure that if someone reads it, they know what you're talking about, okay? Not just saying, oh, this means that competition is not there anymore. No, you got to explain, okay? So again, so that's one analysis done, and then we would just explain what's the effect of that. So and what happens if there's no more competition between these companies? Then you can say, therefore, 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 the effect of increasing integration of these two food delivery firms these two food delivery firms, comma, is that they will be able to save advertising costs as they are no longer in competition, allowing to profit maximize, allowing them to profit maximize. So again, when you say profit maximize, it would be really wise to write MC bracket equal to MR. Okay, so that's our paragraph undone. I know it's long, but what do we have here? Yeah, we have one effect, which is the knowledge, application, we got one analysis and another analysis. Okay, so what this means is that this paragraph falls in the higher levels. Okay, falls in, I believe, level 3. Okay, so it falls in level 3, which is good. Okay, level 3 is really good. That's where you want your paragraph to be. Now we're going to quickly write evaluation. However, the extent to which, however, the extent to which integration between Just Eat and what was that, takeaway.com. Again, I apologize for my bad handwriting. Yeah, I know some of these may not be able to read it, but I just hope that you can follow along and try to understand what I'm trying to say so that I can help you with your paper 3 exam. So, as we mentioned earlier, however, the extent to which integration between Just Eat and Takeaway.com removes competition, between competition in the market, competition in the food delivery market, also depends on. So, what we can think here is how much of the market share do these two firms together occupy? So that's what we can say. So for example, let's say Just Eat has 20% market share, and we got the German firm Takeaway.com has only 1% market share. That means actually competition doesn't really fade away because the other company is only 1%. Whereas, for example, let's say Just Eat is 25%. So in total, it's only 26%. So really, the extent to which competition is removed is limited. Okay, so that's your point. So, however, the extent to which integration between Just Eat and Takeaway.com removes competition in the food delivery market also depends on the size of the integrated firms combined market share. This is because, then you explain it. This is because should market share of the new firms joined together is only 2%. So again, I think it would be better to phrase this. This is because should the market share of the new firms joined together is only 2% more than Actually, I'd probably say what we mentioned earlier is better to write that actually. So this is because should the market share of the combined two firms be less than 10%, comma, it doesn't really remove competition, comma, even if one of the firms, such as Just Eat, is a market leader. So that's just paragraph one, and then I'm gonna walk you guys through the effect two. Of this time, I'm not going to write, but again, I just wanted to write just to give you guys an example of how you could perhaps phrase this. So again, the whole point of this video is to just give you an idea of how to answer, but again, you need to do this in an effective manner. Make sure you maximize marks and not write too much. So the second effect we could say of increasing integration is that it could actually perhaps, let's say, oh, good one. You could say that actually reduces consumer choice. You could say indeed it reduces consumer choice. For example, in here it talks about the German takeaway.com firm. So let's say if a American firm and a Chinese firm, for example, they merge together, it could be the fact that actually there is a reduced choice of restaurants for consumers, because if a Chinese takeaway firm merges with an American one, it means that actually the extent to which they can deliver Chinese cuisine may be limited. For example, let's say the American firm is bigger than the Chinese firm. Of course, they're going to integrate that and they're going to have a majority shareholder in the company, let's say 80 to 20%. So 20% for Chinese. So that means actually consumer choice will be limited. So that could be another argument. So I would say one likely effect of increasing integration within the food delivery market is that it would reduce choices for consumers, or actually even better, from what we saw in the extra, we could say that it could, let's see, yeah, you could say that actually it reduces prices for consumers. For example, Just Eat uses an aggressive pricing strategy, undercutting delivery fees below the average cost of other firms in the market. That would be your application. Then you would explain as your analysis. Therefore, this means that consumers tend to pay less. As a result, this leads to consumer surplus increasing as they are able to save money, which actually may also lead to an increase in demand. That would be your KA1. I mean KA2, yeah, your second paragraph. And how I would evaluate this is by saying, however, the extent to which consumers may pay lower prices also depends on, you could say, economies of scale. This is because should certain firms have economies of scale after they merge, then they can indeed offer lower prices. However, if the merged firm suffers from diseconomies of scale, actually consumer prices may be higher because they would have to pay more. Therefore, actually, you know, the demand for delivery food may fall. So that would be essentially your evaluation too. So that's basically it. That's a wrap. Again, I just want to make clear that you don't have to be stiff. You can think outside of the box. Okay, as long as it makes logical sense to the examiner, that's fine. So again, that's it for today's video. Hope it was informative, and of course, if I missed anything out or you need clarification for anything, just let me know down in the comments below so I can get back to you and make a second YouTube video to explain everything. in this video that you did not understand. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys for the 25 marker, and good luck for your exam.